Hi, so a really quick discussion of how to visualize test cases and test sets that are really crucial to group care technologies, QA, STLC. Um, there's a free online tool called Web Sequence Diagrams. I believe they have an open API. And it's really simple. You could see how right here on the left side, you can essentially just type in information, and it reflects on the right hand side um, what you're attempting to do. So just give you an example. If I type in PCG2, I want to send this to platform login as PCG2. So you can see how there's a real-time creation of the visualization of the text. Really handy, very helpful. So here's an example where we visualize how our product is a complicated M2M microservices cloud platform, how it will work in tandem with some hardware and mobile app client software as well as web apps, and how it delivers behavior. So this is a really fundamentally crucial way for us to, in the QA department, to assure that the product is actually delivering on promised functionality. So what I do currently in Spire Team is I'll just go ahead and grab all these test steps, and they end up in my test cases rather. So this one was IER, and I'll just go ahead and open that up, and you could see how right here all this verbiage is exactly the same as over here. So I take this verbiage and put those as test steps, right? And then, I'll pass, fail, or put caution, which is a wonderful intermediary, because a caution means is that even though a test is passed, this particular test step may have, maybe more than one, maybe two or three requirements. Two or three maybe not implemented, but the one that is does pass. So it's neither pass, it's not fail, but it's a caution. It needs to be retested and revisited in the future. It's worth looking into. So it gets an orange. And then, when you essentially drop it down, you can kind of get a color scheme of, how much of the project is passing, failing, and caution, how much is blocked. It's really neat. And then from these steps in the test cases, these specific test cases are linked in test sets. So if I want to test just the mobile portion of the sequence, so there's a mobile portion involved here, and if I just wanted to test that part, I go ahead and view that this test set tests only those portions of the sequence where the mobile is directly involved. And likewise, the same can be done for the platform, the overall demo, and the web app. So I test those individually, and it kind of gives a sense of, like, we have an outsourced company working on the mobile part. I'm testing, I'm doing a sanity check on how well their development's coming along. It looks pretty good. Our internal platform looks really good, but our web app doesn't look that great. So I can see a more granular insight into this. Now, currently, Spire Test does not directly grab or paint this particular image in line. But I would imagine it would be so ideal that every time I flag a pass or fail over here in the test step, so if I flag that as a pass, you could imagine how this becomes green in the sequence diagram, right? Green, maybe a red here. So that is a wonderful way to visually capture the status of how well the project is doing. That's very crucial for us. Also, the idea of releases is also very crucial because when I make a report, say the iOS release had these many bugs before, not as much green, and then I make a report and I tell them, hey, these are the defects associated with this is how much it fails. When I retest the next release, I can tell in the iOS releases, like every time we receive a build from our outsource partner, we could tell that this is definitely on an improving path. And if it's not, maybe there's a lot of regression bugs in it. Just release structuring is really important. It's crucial. Um, and then we want to have a requirements, sort of like this is we're integrating with Pivotal, but it'd be basically NoRizzk right now I think does risk mitigation, which I think essentially covers this. But the notion here is that our test cases, should have. Let me just drill into one of these test cases. Give you an example what I'm looking for here. So there's a requirements coverage. So you see that this test case has 3 requirements. Now these in NoRizzk could potentially be user stories, right? So I want to be able to link that one test is being covered by is covering 3 user stories, and then let's see, this was executed in the test run on this date for that release. And you could see that this particular test step was associated with all these different releases. And any incidents that were associated, any defects, that'd be great to see. So that's just an example of the kind of more minute and granular approach, which is why we went with Spira Team for at least this part. And the downside with Spira Team is that there is no Pivotal integration, and that's just a huge inconvenience. But and also this is on just the way they have this extendability. We're a Mac shop here, and we have Ubuntu AWS instances. So I think Spira Team runs on a Windows machine, and it's just not easy to do a Windows VM and then just do all kinds of custom programming. So it's not easy to integrate Spira Team with Pivotal Tracker. But and that's where the benefit of switching to NoRizzk is. But if I could be able to capture this information, that would be amazing. Because right now what I do is I essentially just take a screenshot of, for example, just that part, right? Just this much. And I'll show just a quick snippet to our management how well QA is coming along and what the project looks like. And the confidence level is reflected based on the greens, right? So definitely we want to have some sort of reporting where it's like that. This is the really admirable Spira Team front page, and I have all kinds of individual information that I might want to see. This might be like a future thing to do with NoRizzk, where I want to have test runs and I want to be able to just execute, from the main page. Like I want to just start executing immediately without having to drill into multiple places. So yeah, those are things that I just want to run by you, and hopefully it makes sense. The big thing would be the correlation of the sequence, how the sequence diagram relates to these test steps, and how these test steps relate to test sets, and how these test sets relate to test runs that are based on releases. So that, I think, is a very crucial internal cohesion that I particularly seek in a quality test product. So I hope this helps. Thank you very much.